guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jag, and in today's class we're going to continue with our Math 5-6 content, and the topic we're going to do today is on conversions. So the reason I put grade 5 math as well is conversions is introduced in grade 5 and it will basically go on into grade 6 as well. Alright, with that, let's get started. So we're going to go through basically some of the bases here. Alright, and again, make sure you memorize each of these bases. I can apply them for volume, for mass, so it can be used over and over again. Okay, so the first base is going to be kilo, and after that it's going to be hecto, okay, and then deca, and then I'm going to put base. Okay, so the base here actually can represent, if you're doing mass, it's going to represent grams. So I'm going to maybe just box it here. Okay, and again, if I'm doing volume, it can represent liters. Okay, if you're doing measurement, the base represents meters. Okay, so let's put meters here as well. Okay, and basically these prefixes for the other bases are going to be the same. Okay, and then it's going to be deci. All right, and the next base over is centi. Okay, and then milli. Does everyone see that? Okay, and all we're doing is using these bases, okay, and I'm going to do some conversions. So let's try an example over here so everyone can see that. Okay, so again, if I'm using, say, the mass, I'm going to use grams as the base. Okay, so here this would become kilograms, hectograms, decagrams, and for deca, make sure you're putting an A in between. Okay, so let's write it at the bottom. So kilograms, hectograms. So for decagrams, I'm writing DAG, and there's a reason for that. So I can distinguish it from decigrams, which is just going to be DG. Okay, and then let's try centigrams and milligrams. So you might notice, okay, and the base is just going to be grams. And you notice when you do maybe like use stuff in science, okay, the most common units we're using is grams. Okay, if the substance or something is really small, we can also use milligrams. All right, so you might not be familiar with all of the other prefix bases. So let's take a look at that. Let's try an example. Okay, so say I'm changing 12.5 kilograms to grams. Okay, and so when I do this, so let's write at the bottom. Okay, so I'll put 12.5, okay, kilograms, and I'm gonna change it into grams. All right, so as you can see, we're basically going to start right over here at kilograms. I'm changing it to the base, which is grams. And you're just going to see how many times you are jumping to get to the base. Okay, so I'm starting from kilo. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so what you're going to do is I'm going to take, okay, this base right here. So it's 12.5. Because I'm jumping to the right, I'm going to move the decimal place 3 times to the right. Okay, so everyone's looking. So 1, 2, 3. And this is where the decimal place is now. Wherever I have a loop, I'm just going to add a 0, okay? So I can see at 2 loops, I'm adding 2 zeros. So the answer is 12,500 in grams, okay? Does everyone see how to do that? So let's try another example. Let me take this off. Okay, and we'll take out our hopping stick here. And let's go in the opposite direction, okay? Now say I have 18.56, okay, let's try something that is kind of simple so we can get a hang of it. So let's try milligrams, and I'm going to change that into grams. Okay, so you can see it is very important, okay, that we are memorizing this ladder steps. Okay, that's what most teachers will tell you. So we're going to write the number here. It's 18.56. Okay, I am starting from grams, so I'm at the base right here. I'll just make a line, and I'm going towards milligrams. Okay, so I'm going to jump 1, 2, 3 times. Again, I am jumping to the right. Okay, so my decimal place has to move to the right 3 times. So we're going to take this decimal, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and always make sure when you're jumping the decimal, it has to go in between the numbers. I see there is one loop here, and I'm going to add a 0. So it's 18,560 in grams. Okay, so everyone can see that that's actually very simple. I just need to keep moving the decimal place around. Okay, and let's try one actually that where we're moving in the opposite direction. Okay, so let's start with maybe centigrams. So 12.89 centigrams. So CG, okay? And let's change it into hectograms. So I'm going to put HG, all right? So we are going to start from here. We're at centigrams. And we're going to move to the left this time, okay? And we're going to hectograms. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Don't count the spot that you're actually on, okay? It's just the number of jumps. So I'm moving 4 times, okay, to the left. So move the decimal place 4 times to the left, okay? So I'm going to write the number here, so 12.89. Okay, let's go to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I always make like a dot so I know where I'm moving. I see that there are 2 loops here, okay? Put a 0 in the loops. And you can also put a 0 before the decimal as well. So I can see what my number is here. It's 0.001289. Okay, all of the numbers that are non-zero, I have to actually write each of these numbers down. Okay, and that's my final answer in hectograms. All right. Again, you don't really use hectograms maybe like in science or in the lab. Okay, but we should know how to do the conversions based on that. Okay. Are there any questions so far? So good. Let's try some questions, okay, where we use the metric conversion in terms of measurements. Okay, what we're going to try to use here is going to be the meters. Okay, and the reason for that is the measurements are really important. Okay, we know that we use kilometers, meters, centimeters is quite commonly used. Even millimeters is used often as well. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. Okay, and what we're going to convert now, so let's take out the bottom part. Okay, so here we were just looking at the mass. Now we're looking at the measurements. So we're going to put kilometers, this is hectometers, decameters. Okay, so again, decameters is going to be DAM, because decimeters is going to be DM, centimeters, millimeters. Okay, so I think everyone should be quite familiar, okay, with the measurement system. So let's try a couple of examples for the conversion. So let's do 89.6 meters, and I'm going to change it to centimeters, okay? The reason I picked these two conversion methods here is because these units are very commonly used, okay? So we're going to move from the base to centimeters. So I'm moving 1 and 2 times, okay, to the right. So I'm going to write my number here. So it's 89.6. Okay, so move the decimal place 2 times to the right here, okay? So it's going to be 1 and 2. Again, I only have one loop here, all right? So I'm going to put 1 0. So my number now becomes 8,960 centimeters. Does everyone see how to do that? Okay, so let's try an example where we're moving to the left, okay? And again, conversions going to like kilometers to meters, okay? It's just very common. So let's take this out. Okay, so let's try 74.58. And let's try meters. I'm going to change it into kilometers, okay? And again, this time we are moving to the left. So I'm at meters right here at the base. So 1, 2, and 3. So I'm moving 3 times to the left to get to the kilometers. We're going to write out our number, 74.58. Okay, let's move it to the left 3 times. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. Again, make sure you note that I am moving my decimal place in between the numbers, okay? And it's best that if you do it this way. And this is also just a little bit of mental math, okay, to get the answer right away. So I can see there's one loop here. I'm going to put a 0 and also put a 0 before the decimal place as well, okay, for the very small numbers. So this number becomes 0.07458, okay, in kilometers. So again, when you're moving the decimal place to the left, it's actually like you dividing, okay? Each time you're jumping, this is actually a base of 10. So I'm going to put divided by 10, divide by 10. We're basically dividing by 1,000, okay? So if you want, you can also take your calculator. I can do 74.58 divided by 1,000. And this is the number that you'll get. You'll get 0.07458, okay? And when you're actually moving in the other direction, so let's try one more example here, okay? I'm going to take this off. Okay, and I just want to show everyone basically the base of 10 that we are using here, okay? So let's try something simple. Let's do 17.5 meters, okay? And let's change that into millimeters, because millimeters is used quite often as well, okay? So again, I'm going to start from the base. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm moving 3 times here to the right. So I'm going to move my decimal place again 3 times to the right. Okay, so go in between the numbers. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm just making a decimal place there. I see 2 loops. There should be 2 zeros. So it's going to be 17,500 in millimeters. Okay. And again, each time, so because I'm moving to the right, I'm actually multiplying by a base of 10. That's what each jump is, okay? So I'm going to put times 10, times 10, times 10. Okay? And what I can do is take 17.5, and I'm basically just taking it and multiplying it by 1,000. Okay? And if you use your calculator to do that, you'll notice our answer is 17,500. Okay? But again, I would make sure I am memorizing each of these bases and the prefixes, because I can see that I can apply that for the measurement. I can apply it for the volume. I can also apply it for the mass as well. Okay? Alright, so let's take this off. Okay, and we're going to try just one example here. Okay? And this time we're going to use the actual volume for liters. Okay, and you notice basically for liters, in terms of volume, okay, we usually just use liters and milliliters. And the reason for that is in the lab, again, if I'm using several different types of chemicals, I'm always measuring the components in milliliters, okay? Because that's what the graduated cylinders and the beakers are for, okay? And they're actually measuring it in milliliters. When I actually apply it in different formulas, I have to convert that back into liters, okay? So let's take a look at that. Let's do 6.5, okay, in liters, and I'm going to change it to milliliters, okay? And so when you do this, okay, I'm going to move the decimal place to the right. So again, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to write the 6.5 here. Okay, move it to the right 3 times, okay? So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. Again, I have 2 loops here. I'm going to add 2 zeros. And my answer is 6,500 milliliters, okay? And the number will always be really big, okay? And the actual number for liters will be much smaller. Okay, let's try actually one example where we're converting it in the opposite direction. Okay, so let's do 12,500 milliliters, okay, into liters. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. And also note, okay, if you have a whole number like this, the decimal place is actually after that last 0, okay? So again, we're going to go in the opposite direction. So 1, 2, 3. This time I'm actually dividing it by 1,000. So we're going to take our 12,500. This is where the decimal place is, okay? Right after that last 0. We're going to move to the left 3 times, okay? So 1, 2, 3. The decimal place is right after the 2 now, and I can see my answer is 12.5 liters. Okay, does everyone see that? Okay, so you're just moving the decimal place to the left and the right Okay, I would make sure I am memorizing this chart that I drew here. All right, and your teacher might actually draw it as like a ladder or like, you know, a step pattern, but it's okay if you memorize it in this way as well. Okay. All right, so that looks good. If there are no questions, that brings this video to an end. And thank you for watching. Please make sure you do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see everyone in the next video. Thanks. Bye.